Hey everybody, John here again. A little bit of over the Reich action, or lack thereof, frankly. It's turn 12. There's been a definite slowdown from the Allies. We just really we took on a lot of their different aircraft and shot them down. So he's stalled for points. He's at 117 for the past few turns, I think, and I was able to shoot down four of his Sterlings and kill two of his convoys. His Sterlings, I picked them up on radar over here. Was able to send my expert in and a couple of supporting aircraft to shoot them down. Uh, these radar installations are key. I really haven't found anything with the bombers, to be honest with you. The bombers are good for zeroing in, seeing if it's a feint, trying to get an idea of how many there are. A lot of times, one corner of the bomber stream will be detected by or one corner will be detected by radar, and the bombers let you kind of flesh it out and see what you're really dealing with. So they're good for that. Um, but I think they're still better used in the defensive role that I have them as scouts than being offensive. I mean, I could prick at him with a couple of attacks here and there, but I'd probably lose the bomber, and I don't know how much gain I'd really get out of it, and then I wouldn't be able to use them as scouts without rebuilding them, which I don't want to do. So, anyways, like I mentioned, his score is 117. Remember, he has to get to 225 by turn 25 to get another army group, and he only has one right now. So, seems unlikely that he's going to be invading soon. Um, but I am, again, building a couple of these scout planes because I really want to figure out where that army is. I don't know which city it's in. I'm gonna guess probably Dover, but I really don't know. It starts over here, and Plymouth doesn't seem to have anything. Neither does Portsmouth, so it could be Bristol. I'm not sure where he has it. Um, so yeah, the objective is to find that if we can. Um, And then also, I have to start thinking about long-term defense because ultimately, I mean, Professor Garfield is an outstanding player and he designed the scenario alongside with me. So he knows the scenario just as well as I do. And he's a better player than I am. So I have no doubt that eventually he's going to invade the continent. I think he's going to find it really challenging to do that immediately just because he only has one army group. And I don't know that he's going to get a second one quick. But once he builds up England and he's able to have his full industrial capacity and all of his convoys that give freight trains, we're going to start seeing him probably build airfields right around here, like just littering the land with them so that convoys can come right in, discharge, and he can get four new planes every single turn, basically. Um, when that happens and when all of these cities are done building up and they can just start, building freight trains and pushing them to these, I mean, he's going to be able to build way more units than I can each turn. And eventually he's going to overwhelm me, and eventually he's going to be able to invade. Because what he's going to need to do is, even though the scenario is designed for me to have a larger army at the start, and I probably always will have a larger army, which, I get that's not really that historical, but it's for balance reasons. Um, he's going to have so many air force, such an overwhelming air strength that what he's going to be able to do is just create a blanket around his forces. I mean, he'll literally be able to just make a ring around his forces where I can't get to him, without having a massive air battle first. And I totally believe that he's going to just isolate pocket after pocket after pocket of my forces. I mean, he could literally force them to not be able to move by just encircling them with aircraft, which I think would be pretty historical. If he just totally encircles them, they're not going anywhere unless I can break them out with a Luftwaffe. So, once he has a massive amount of aircraft, he can do the job with few army groups. So I have to figure out how to defend against him. And I don't know where the attack's going to come. I'm guessing it's either going to be here, somewhere in between. Uh, well, basically from Cherbourg to Calais, I would think would be where he'd attack. I actually have two forces over in Rouen because I think that would be an easier target for him. He might land here thinking I wouldn't see him and then get in there. Um, So I'm faced with a dilemma. Do I build a whole bunch of air forces and just try to build my strength up as much as possible? Well, obviously so. But, I also could start building this installation terrain along the coastline and moving some of these, probably not these ones specifically, but these, I could probably, at the very least, these, move away from Berlin and start building up the Atlantic Wall a little bit. But to do that smartly, I need to figure out where the heck his army group is so I can try to determine where he's likely to invade. Um, these units, these gun batteries, are worth talking about. They're a really interesting feature of this scenario. I think that has a lot of play for future scenarios. They reactively attack any kind of naval invasion. I don't have to shoot the naval invasion if he activates one of his army groups at the sea trying to unload them. They will shoot it, and they will do very big damage if he doesn't take them out. So if I can actually get several of them lining this coastway. I'm pretty strong here, fairly strong there. But if I get more of them, um, you know, it could be really challenging for him. He's going to have to invest a lot of money in fighter bombers to destroy him at the very least. So I could build up the Atlantic Wall. The question I have is, will that be a total waste of resources? Because, these things move two spaces. I mean, it's very challenging to move them far. Also, if he attacks this right here, um, really this is the one he needs to take right now to prevent me from being able to rush those things from Berlin all the way here. Because what I can do, I'll show you if I can figure out what the key is. I think it's U. It is U. See, I have this rail network where I can redeploy these to different cities. I'm not going to do it right. Well, it doesn't matter. I've already sent him this turn. Um, so I guess I will do it just to show you. But you can see these are all the different cities I can deploy it to. And I can still reach these cities. It's going to cost me a hefty penny to do it. I don't have the fuel to do it right now. But so let's just say I want to send it to, let's go to, I don't think amps, well, hang on. I'm trying to find a good one to send it to. I don't think Brest has one. So just for purposes of showing you, boom. It's basically an airlift, but the way that it works is that it needs to have a direct path along this kind of terrain, this rail bed. It needs to be able to trace its way all the way to that city, and both of the cities have to have a functioning rail yards improvement. So it costs a lot of fuel to bring it from Berlin. It's not cheap, but boom, I have one from Berlin all the way in Brest now. If he were to destroy more of these, I wouldn't be able to do it. And currently, I have a real problem where if he destroys, well, I guess he'd have to destroy this one and this one, or this one and this one. But if he takes out both of those, I really can't reinforce this side. If he takes out both of these, I can't reinforce there, or Cherbourg. So, I mean, I could get them close. I could get them to Paris and then move them two spaces at a time. So, wouldn't be the end of the world now. But before he invades Normandy, I certainly would expect him to destroy, or wherever he invades, I certainly would expect him to destroy all of these, which was in keeping with Allied strategy. I just think that is an absolutely fascinating mechanic that Garfield was able to implement. It has so many implications in terms of like supply lines and everything else, that you could do in this scenario or other scenarios. So I thought that was really cool. With that, though, I'm going to go ahead and just end this video and start playing my next turn. So talk to you later.